back to Celebrity with Nene. So I'm Nene, and today we have Reese, B, and Jerome joining us. And we will be recapping season 4, episode 43 of Love After Lockup. All right, or no, I think this one is Life After Lockup, right? Okay, so our first couple, should we do Justine first? Justine and Michael? Y'all want to go there with them first?
Yes.
Okay, we can go there. All right. So, sorry, I'm just trying to flip to my notes about them. Okay. So Justine and Michael this week, we see them there talking, and she is telling Michael that she wants to get a doula, for this pregnancy, I guess, and for her labor, she wants to have a doula. Alrighty, and so Michael says that he didn't really want her to have a male doula. Oh, I'm sorry, a doula dude. Is there such thing as a doula dude? Are there male doulas? There are? Oh, okay. All right. So he said he didn't want her to have a doula dude. So they actually went and they met with a doula who was a lady. Okay. And they just kind of talked to her about they're contemplating moving and they want to know if the doula travels. Like if he needs to go on a show, Justine goes, can the doula come? And so she did say that she would travel. And then they also kind of briefly talked about the placenta, and so Justine definitely wants to keep her placenta and take it some kind of way. She didn't specify which way she wants to intake the placenta. All right. And she also reveals to us that her son Santana is actually on the spectrum, which I'm glad she kind of shared that because I was just thinking that he was kind of just a bad kid. But now I kind of understand a little bit more of where he's coming from. So, any thoughts on Justine and Michael this week?
With them two,
Mm-hmm.
I I was kind of embarrassed for the both of them because they literally just sat there and argued in front of this lady.
They did, yeah.
And
How
like,
uncomfortable.
yes, I know it was very uncomfortable. And the the fact that she even wanted a doula, I mean, in my opinion, it don't seem like she like spiritually ready for that. And it's like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people want to jump into that experience of having doula and the midwife and stuff, but it starts mentally, and they already showing that they really not there. He don't even understand the concept of everything, and thinking everything nasty with the placenta and all that stuff, and it's supposed to be like a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful spiritual thing. And I don't I don't understand him. Yes, there is male doulas, and so I understand where he coming from, but at the same time, he got a lot of stuff going on himself. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then she put it out there too, like, I'm not just doing this for me, I'm doing this for both of us. And he's still doing stuff like they not even together.
Yeah,
Like, I'm doing this and you doing that. And I'm doing this for you, so you should do this for me. But we supposed to be married or getting married.
that is very true. You made some good points, B, especially about it seems like she wants to do these, like she said, she wants a natural birth, but is she really in that space to do what she's saying, this whole natural childbirth, or does it just sound good? I know sometimes things just sound good um, till you in there and you got to do it.
Yes, but that's all
So,
I have. Yeah.
okay.
Um,
Yeah.
I found them interesting. First, I like to say we went from dressing alike as far as we're going to work on the road to dressing alike where we about to go rob a place
Right.
in all black. I mean, I just knew some bank was we are gonna hear about some bank getting hit up. Um, Going to see the doula, like B said, it is, after hearing more about it right now, that it's something that you have to be mentally and spiritually prepared for. It's not something that you do just because it's cool. has to be something that is followed. And like I said, they were arguing. That was embarrassing. You sat there and argued in front of this lady. That's not showing a spiritual connection. The part where when they were talking about moving, I know he's very indecisive, and it's still early. So, okay, I can understand why you're being indecisive. Nothing's decided yet. But the way you say, well, I'm the one bringing the money, so this is what I decide. And I'm like, this is something, this is a moment where even as a man, I'll say, hey, okay, just say okay, and we'll discuss it later. It's not like they were signing the paperwork right then. To it, sometimes you don't have to assert your dominance at that point.
Right. What about they were telling the kids they were moving, but they were being, to me, vague with the kids? I kind of felt like y'all need to at least have some options, seriously narrow down, like maybe 2 before you go to the kids. I kind of was side-eyeing them on that.
With the kids, I'll say, and if it was just casual talking, it's good just to throw it out there as long as ain't nothing serious on it. And then, because it's good to make the kids feel important. At the end of the day, though, the kids gonna go where the parents say go.
Right.
And even on top of that, even though yes, you are married, if he's going to be the breadwinner, then you've got to pick a place that fits within his budget, and some place that you're both going to be happy. And if he's going to be working, what's going to be best for his work? If she's going to be to stay at home, but on the flip side, someplace where she's going to be comfortable. Now, as far as with the son, and I was listening to him carefully because she was saying that he's on the spectrum, but then when listening to him and what he said, well, I don't like the way they talk to you. And it makes me wonder sometimes, I think there's a fine line between some kids that are on the spectrum and those that never were really made to follow direction or given a little too much freedom on how they speak to their parents and such. And so I feel like that just in future, I think that'll be an issue between him trying to put a little bit of, a little man try to put a little bit of in him, like, hey, you got to respect your home. It's just raising to be a man, and her being a mother being like, but my baby. So that's what I'm looking to see in the future as far as that goes.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with y'all. I guess the only thing that like I'm curious about, like, because the daughter is about to graduate, but then y'all gonna move away from her, or like I think like she's gonna be the one that's probably affected the most, unless she was gonna go to college somewhere else. But like if she was gonna stay local and newly get out, and it's like, oh, but y'all moving to Texas, which is far from where they're at, that'd probably be kind of scary. But
yeah,
I am glad they're asking the kids their opinions on it, so that it's still, because I mean they're gonna go where the parents say they're gonna go regardless, but it kind of feels more, especially since he's new to the family, letting them at least talk about it, even if they don't get the final say, stating their opinions or seeing what they would like is actually nice. And I do think he tries to include the kids in a lot of stuff. So I don't know. I mean, I think he's a great stepdad so far. But they do got to be respectful. So like you're saying, if it's the spectrum, which is why he probably was having the fit, then yeah, he'll have to learn how to deal with that, because that is like, I guess, part of that. But if it's I didn't realize my shirt was all crazy. But if it's the just not being able to, or just not, what I'm saying, having somebody just teach them, like, don't talk like that, don't act like that, then yeah, she gonna have to like go with it, because if she babies him and then he's trying to teach him discipline, that they're gonna bump heads.
Yeah.
As far as the doula appointment, I'm with B. Like, they was arguing a lot. It was kind of embarrassing. Like, that's your first, what I'm saying? Like, I would feel like as a doula, like, I don't know if I want to be part of this, because what I'm saying? Even if messing up, they don't have their spiritual connection. How am I supposed to connect with you? Because if y'all arguing now, like, y'all gonna argue in the birth room, y'all gonna argue, and then the placenta part, I still don't know about like how I feel about how she said like mixing in the smoothie and stuff. Like, I don't know about that, because I don't know. It's to me, look, and you know how he said he's awesome. I want mine well done. Like, I can understand that. If I'm gonna eat it, and we got to cook this thing, and then the cooking will make me feel like cannibal. So I feel like if I was gonna do it, I would do it the way that old girl from Housewives, when she put it in the pill form. I probably don't know way I could do that, John. Because I don't think I could eat it. But if somebody can, more power to you, because you probably get more nutrients from it if you could just eat it.
Yeah, you know what? Because I know we had spoke about this earlier, right before we came on, Racy, and we were like, I don't think I could do it in the smoothie. But then I thought about it. I think I couldn't do it in the smoothie because I felt like it would taste like
That's what I'm saying.
But with smoothies, you can change the taste of them. So, I mean, you could make it like a peanut butter or a strawberry smoothie or something. Maybe if the taste was, I think that's my big fear too, is to taste something that don't taste.
B, since you are, there you go. That's what I was gonna ask you. Like, are you planning on doing something with your placenta?
I'm actually thinking about eating mine this time. Eating it. Eating it in pill form, because you can do multiple things with it. You know, like you say, you can turn it into a painting. You can do a variety of different stuff. But I'm actually thinking about eating it this time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not thinking so much as far. That's why I said it got to be like a spiritual and mental thing. Because if you're not spiritually and mentally, on that level where it's like, I'm not just eating a part of me, I'm giving myself back to myself for my baby. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a deeper level. So I'm thinking that this time that I might eat it and do like some pill form. Because it's like either way, you still injecting it back into your body.
Yeah. That's how I feel like eating it just feels like, like I just don't want to even see it go into the smoothie.
I think when we think about eating it, we thinking of it raw and all mushy and stuff. But it's basically, when I think about it like liver, and I love liver,
But I wouldn't put a piece of raw liver in a.
Okay, so I'm not trying to act
raw liver.
ignorant here. I'm really not. But let me ask you. So when they cook and eat the placenta, do they like? I guess you do need sides with it. Do they put it like over rice or?
You making a meal?
Salad?
Did you just make a meal with your placenta?
Yeah. Do you make a meal with it?
That's what I'm saying.
Like I said, if I sound ignorant, I'm not trying to be, but I'm just wondering.
No, you don't, because I mean, it's not for everybody. But look, he left.
But this is like something that other people may be trying to figure out and deal with.
Yeah, somebody else may.
Yeah.
I was looking for my steak sauce.
Oh,
right. As long as I got some hot sauce, I'm good. But I was thinking like the smoothie way, or like making it like how we do chicken liver with rice and gravy, stuff like that. Because I don't know how it tastes until I taste it, And I did the same thing with sea moss, and sea moss have a whole nother taste, and it's like. But either way, it's like it's coming from me, so it's mine. It's my body.
Yeah.
So, it's like I wouldn't say eating myself, but.
But see, like the more I hear about it, because I think the first time I heard about it, it was just like But the more I hear about it and the benefits for it, like because you do lose a lot when you give, and that's why people don't understand, like your body's out of whack after a baby, because you lose a lot. And that's after seeing it too, because I don't have no kids, but I was in there and I saw. I'm like, oh, that is a lot to just be losing. You know what I'm saying? And then not only that, but even like the little bit of nutrients you got, you giving it to the baby when you first start like breastfeeding and all that stuff. So it's like I don't see anything wrong with anybody who wants to get it back and ingest it. I just think for me, I'd have to do a pill form, because if I taste anything, I won't finish it. So for me, very better pill form, but. If it's got any weird taste to it, I'm like, I'm not doing it. Yeah, and I would think if you're gonna make the man to make him do it though. I've never heard nobody doing that.
Nah, I wouldn't suggest. I don't see why
Yeah,
she
where it
even
would help
said that,
him.
because the eating of the placenta is mainly for the woman, and getting her nutrients and getting herself back together. She ain't say
Yeah,
nothing about
postpartum
breastfeeding,
and
so
all that.
just dry eating the
Yeah.
placenta just to eat it or whatever. But I mean, it's mainly for to get everything back that your body needs. So when you breastfeed, you
Mhm.
giving your
Yeah,
baby
that's what I was
more.
thinking of. Or that's
Yeah,
why at first I was like Reese, where I was like, why? But then the more you think about it, the more you see things, the more you talk to people, it's like, okay, especially if I'm breastfeeding, then for me to take back in the nutrients that I lost,
Mhm.
I just think, that's probably really good for your body.
That,
I
and they
can't
say for the
be like,
postpartum,
baby,
like,
eat this.
Yeah. Hmm.
You're a part
because
of
I
me.
don't shoot. I'm like, I feel like I'm an emotional person now. I think if I had a kid, I probably would end up in postpartum because I'd be probably like, then sucked everything out of me. Now you've taken everything. Now I'm depressed too. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't want
Yeah,
to get
that
that. So
part.
if it meant taking some pills of my own nutrition, my nutrition, you know what I'm saying? Then hey. But I don't know. I still ain't past the smoothie part. But I mean, hey, if somebody does do it and it works, like more power to you.
All right. All right. So our next couple was Sean and Sarah. And I know last week I called her a hoe. She's still a hoe this week. All right. So we see Sarah wakes up and Sean is actually taking care of the baby. Shocking, right? And so she goes downstairs where he's at and he's talking and he's saying he really does want to change. He recognizes the things that she was saying. He did say he realized that he's been a bad dad to his kids, and now him playing the game is a way for him to connect to with his son, which I totally understand. And then she was like, I'm not trying to come in between you and your son. I encourage that. So, but he did say, he recognizes he needs to pay more attention to her. All right. And then they actually go to a plastic surgeon's office and they have a consultation because Sarah wants to get a boob job. Uh, I don't know. Okay. So while she was at this consultation, she is getting text messages from her baby daddy. She actually leaves the room to go call him. She says that she wants to go call him so that the text will stop and it'll stop looking weird. And so she's in the bathroom talking to this man that she knows wants to get down. Last week he told her husband can't love her the way that he does. So I feel like that was very disrespectful for her to do. Just turn the phone off if that's what's going on. But you shouldn't have did your man like that. And she came back in the room and he was kind of feeling, the vibes was off, and her husband noticed that. So she had talked to her baby daddy. He told her he wants to meet the little girl. So for me, I was like, well, what have y'all been talking about if this is the first time he's mentioning he wants to see the child? Suspicious to me. That's sus. And, so she's like, well, she's got to talk to her mom about that. She doesn't know because her daughter will get attached. But I thought this was what it was all about for her.
Mhm.
So I don't know. But yeah, so she goes back in the room, she gets ready to leave. She heads home and her mom is actually watching the baby. But what is so weird is, did y'all notice the time lapse that has happened? Because at the beginning, when her and Sean were in the kitchen, that baby looked maybe about 4 months old, 3, 4 months old. But then when she walked in the house and her mom had the baby looked like it was over 6 months.
Hmm.
Oh, I don't know if y'all noticed. I was like, wait a minute.
I just
What's
noticed a
going
big baby period, but I don't know. I didn't pay attention to that.
Yeah, yeah, there was a time lapse there, so it was clearly some months in between. And plus, her baby daddy had also said, "Well, now I'm out of rehab and
Yeah.
I'm off parole or
And he
whatever
was
he
there
was
for what,
on."
30 days? For
I'm
sure.
not sure how long he was there, but he was saying he was out, and and that he had gotten his license and stuff. So I already knew there was about to be. I was like, wait a minute, so this has been a couple months since his last interaction, I guess. All right, and so the mom is with with the baby, and she tells her mom that she's been texting with her ex. And her mom, I gotta give it to her. Her mom was giving her some good advice and was making some good points. She was like, he hasn't been around so far to be with his daughter. So, kind of, is he coming around for his daughter? And if so, is he going to be able to stay? In which I do get the grandma's concerns. It's like, why is he now, after all these years, trying to come around? And so, and then she also encourages Sarah that she probably should go ahead and tell Sean what's going on and not keep him. But Sarah says she feels like it'll be a bigger problem if she tells Sean. So, what are y'all thoughts on Sean in the hole this week?
Well, I guess I'll go for some talking. So, I don't know if I still want to feel like she a hoe unless she continue on and Sean has been doing better. Then I'm like, okay, so you ain't right. Not to say it was right when he wasn't acting right, but I understood where that feeling of wanting somebody to say that you look good or wanting somebody to notice you, whatever. I understand where that would be coming from. But if he's doing what he's supposed to do and you clearly made it that you want to be married to him, you just want him to see you again. So now he's saying, like, I realized that, which he was wrong for that. Because, you know what I mean? You still got a family, a wife, you know what I'm saying? You still got to take care of home as well as your kids. And I still feel like even with that video game, that's one child, like, because he keeps saying Isaiah. What about the other 5? You know what I'm saying? Or 2 of them are older, so there's still another 3. You know what I'm saying? You're still only showing attention to 1. You got 6 kids, actually 7, and then a stepdaughter, 8. You know what I'm saying? So you go to work and you feel like work, and now I have this chance to like bond with my kids, but you're bonding with your kid, duh. So because you and that one kid have that in common, still is not making you a great dad because the rest of them still feel like you're nothing. The kids sitting in your house are gonna feel like you're terrible, and then the ones that you didn't figure out a way to bond with them are still gonna feel like you ain't nothing. So to me, I'm not impressed by it. Like, I'll be impressed when I see you working with all of them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, find something, even if it's once a week, like today I'm spending time with this one, today I'm doing something with this one, today I'm doing something with this one, and at night give your attention to the wife, or when you first get home, give some attention to the little girls in the house, and then put aside an hour or 2 for each of the other kids, like, you know what I'm saying, whether it's 2 of them or 1 of them, a couple hours a night or something. Like, you chose to have that many kids, so it's on you when you don't live in the household with them to make some sort of relationship. But he's only building it with 1, so that's why I said I'm not impressed. I'm glad he's at least doing that because he wasn't, but you ain't super dad just because you're building one with 1, because you got 1 in the house that you barely even did anything. But I was happy to see her wake up and he had the baby, because I'm like, that last episode when he walked in the house and was like, hey, and then walked away and was like, I did spend time with her. I'm like, oh no, that's terrible. Why you even say that on TV? Like, I pray that we just did some editing and that wasn't really him playing with the baby, because I like, that's garbage. You said hi. That's like telling somebody I walked past you and said, hey, how you doing? And walked away, and I'm like, I had a whole conversation with him. No, you didn't. You said, hi, how you doing? So you did a greeting and that's it. So he greets his child and then thinks that was showing love? No. As far as the baby daddy, she just got to figure that mess out. Like, I'm with the mom. Like, be careful. I guess if you're ready to let her meet her dad, and then he can handle it and whatever. But if he starts getting back in trouble, then just let the daughter know, like, this is who he is. So, this is what it's going to be. Luckily, you got a stepdad too, so you're not just without any male father figure. But I guess they're not going to know until they try. But I think she needs to stay out of it, outside of if she goes on the first meetup, and if everything seems cool, maybe have his sister go or something, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, either do it in public places, but I don't think she needs to be talking to him.
So she don't need to be alone with him. And then she keeps on mentioning how they never broke up. They just stopped talking because
they had unfinished business and stuff. So
so in the back of her mind,
to me, you should have got married then.
Yeah, she shouldn't have got married. She's still open to the ideal. And then he's saying things that I feel like it's not making the situation any better.
No. And I do think she needs to let Sean know sometime soon, because she can't have the girl go see her dad and then think the girl ain't gonna come home and say something. So she most definitely needs to you know, and maybe because she, you know, she was like, I didn't think it would be so soon. So if the timeline was the way they made it seem, then yeah, that is too soon. But if he's been in that place for longer than like a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, months, whatever it was, and they've been slowly talking about like, okay, when you get out, I want to see her. When I get out, I want to see her. Then I don't know why it seems like it's such a shock. Like, unless, like you said, they ain't been talking about that. Then suddenly he's like, oh, I'm ready to see my daughter. And it's like, wait. You know, why is it a surprise? Thought that's what the whole thing was. Because last week, that's what she said it was. So I don't know. It is giving a confusing storyline, but I hope that, you know, his comment of I'm gonna be there when he's in the before him and I'm gonna be there after him. Hopefully he don't really mean that because he need to move on with his life too. And worry about that girl because that's whose life you are impacting the worst or most, you know, his daughter. So that's all I got.
Okay. Any other thoughts on Sean and Sarah?
Oh my gosh. All right. You know, first I'm gonna say that, yeah, put them on. Yeah, because I'm gonna say this here.
I guess my shades need to come back out. If you like our shades, check out Unique G. She's on TikTok. If you like our shades.
First off, Sean, when she woke up, saw Sean with the baby, and listen, and understanding how Sean has been, but nowhere have I seen from last season or this season where Sean has actually sat here and not just saying something just to say it, but more in detail that I'd be more inclined to believe. Like one of the things he said was, I figured that as long as I was there financially, I was doing my part, but now I realize I'm not. That's a lot of things that some people don't understand. They feel like, oh, because if I provide this monetarily or financially, that helps. But you know, you think about a single parent doing all that stuff, or even the parent that's at home doing everything, and even that kid needing your interaction, needing your presence as well as your presence. I did not like the fact that when he first came telling Sarah that she just pretty much had he's pouring his heart out. She's just like, okay. And I get you've heard it before, but he's actually saying stuff that and it's really coming to you in a way he has not come before.
Yeah.
Even if Sean is willing to change right now, if you don't give him that much to show that he's trying, he's gonna stop trying, and then you're gonna be right back mad at him again because he's not doing what it's like. Well, you didn't appreciate when I tried to in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Now, moving forward, when you're going to the appointment, I mean, you're going to get boobs. It's like all of a sudden now you're going to get boobs and whatever else now that you are thinking back about someone from your past. I don't like that. So basically they're going in. She's like, I've been saving, but regardless, when you become a couple, it's y'all. So basically, he's going to help pay for you to get boobs to wear for the next guy, for the ex guy.
Yeah.
Cool. And then she goes and answers the phone. This is your husband up here doing something for you. I don't care how much you lose for your phone. He can wait. But then I fault you too because you lit the fuse to all of this. If it was because at the end of the day, if it was more about you seeing him seeing his daughter, you would have thought it wouldn't have taken Sean doing less and you looking for attention to finally decide that, okay, now he needs to see his daughter. The daughter right now is just really a ploy to me as a reason to see. So yes, I will give her the garden tool for that reason. And then as far as seeing the mom, you know, when she was talking to the mom and the mom said, well, don't you think you should let her know before it gets bad? And she's like, I think it'd be worse if I don't tell him. You know, for someone who always told Sean what doing before with him and his other baby mamas that he needs to be up front, you're sitting here being dishonest and wanting honesty. You know, if you're big enough to do it, you're big enough to accept it. Be transparent. You know, but you're not, because if you came to Sean on the means that I just wanted to see your dad, then there's something that can be worked out. But you know good and well, even with Buddy, his whole thing is, yeah, I'm getting out. Yeah, I want to see my daughter, but you talk 5% about seeing your daughter and 95% of rekindling and showing you like he jagged edge, like he can love you better. He can't love you better than you can. So she is wrong, and she's at some point she's gonna have to stand tall on it. to where now she's getting on Sean. I believe the role's going to be reversed, but he's going to be doing as he should. And he'll start with these two kids, and I think he'll branch out and do better with the rest. But if Sarah doesn't get it together, she's going to lose somebody that for once actually provided for her, and it's now making a change to show her and actually love her for someone that the reason why they didn't work, mostly because he never took the stance as a man to be responsible and kept doing irresponsible things that got him in trouble. Like the other couple who made the choice, and now she's sitting here like, maybe I chose the wrong person.
Yeah. All righty. So good points you made there. So B, what are your thoughts on Sean and the hoe?
I guess I can actually say like I've been in that situation before. So it's like I understand her, but at the same time she's still wrong, because the only reason she even dealing with the baby daddy is because she feel lack of with the man that she with. But at the same time, if you feel lack of with the man that you with, just like you conversated with him about taking care of the baby, you could conversate with him about, doing better and that baby daddy, the other guy or whatever. But that's the main thing that makes it wrong to me, because it's like it's that much lack that you would rather deal with somebody that's in jail. But then again, it is love life after lockup, and that's what they do. So it's
She can't
kind
judge
of
because she
like,
was a prisoner.
yeah, it's kind of like they whole lifestyle is centered around jail. So it's like that's what she comfortable with. But at the same time, walking in there and seeing him with the baby, and I don't know if anybody noticed. I didn't notice the age difference thing, but I did notice that the baby was mugging her when she walked in the kitchen, and he was holding the baby, and the baby looking at her like, "Yeah, he got me."
Like,
So
where
now
you been?
Yeah.
Like, my dad might not be no good, but where you been?
yeah, that's like,
That's still my daddy.
look at him with the cheeks. But I don't know. It's all about communication and what you're willing to put up with. Because I mean,
Right.
it ain't
And
no point
you
in getting
may,
married if you leaving the door open for somebody else. Because I
yeah.
actually used to do that, and leave the door open for the baby that, oh, he went to jail. By the time he get out, he can get back to it or whatever. But it wasn't until I met the man that, okay, he got a figure. We don't need all this extraness. Yeah, you might be biological, and yeah, they know about you, but at the same time, you're not needed. you know all that stuff starts confusion with the child, and it's like ain't
Yeah.
none of them thinking about that. They mostly thinking about their self pleasures.
It's something else that I didn't think about. And you kind of touched on that. Okay, so with the time lapse, this has been going on for months that she's been entertaining this guy. It's like, at what point? I feel like, okay, if it happened and then a couple weeks later, oh, you and this baby daddy is doing this, but y'all have been talking for several months because your baby is older now. So it's like, at some point, it's not snapping to you that maybe I need to knock this off, or are you liking that attention? But I don't.
Maybe she's
I
trying
hope
to
Sean
wait
gets
till
his act
Sean
together.
get to where she needed him to be.
Mm.
Because I mean, he's still saying it, but do we know that he's really started showing it yet? He said he gave her the speech,
Right.
but is he really acting on it? She said it's the first time he sounded like this, but it
Yeah.
still doesn't mean a person can keep saying they're gonna change and do whatever and still do the same thing. Like,
I mean, it's so, but it's just like someone who cheats. It's like if they cheat because I didn't show them attention, am I really going to feel the same way knowing that another man has been doing things with you that only we're supposed to be doing? So it's a double edge. You may be doing it for attention, but then you could end up getting the wrong attention.
no, but I'm saying as far as Sean, like I'm still not like, I still don't think he's like turning into like, I think he's always been a great provider.
Mm-hmm.
He's provided for his wife, he's provided for his kids, but he's not good emotionally, physically. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, he doesn't know how to be in a real relationship. And with that being said, it took her to say she's gonna leave basically for him to act right. But if she says, okay, I'm gonna stay, or you can go back to your the other ways, so she still got to see that too. I ain't saying she needs to be entertaining the other dude, because obviously, you know, he garbage. You was with him, you know what I'm saying? You even don't, you had to go talk to your mom about letting your daughter see him. If he's a great guy, that wouldn't even be a question. You know what I'm saying? And if you feel like he really sounded like he got his life together, because when you hear what he said, like he's like, I'm financially stable. I got my license. I got all of this going on now, and these must be things that he didn't have prior to. So, in my opinion, he sounded like he got his head on right too. So then, why wouldn't you let him see the daughter if we want up people's words?
Right, but that's if you're going off of words. You're actually seeing what Sean is doing. Sean has been there about it and not being there. But with the others, like how many, like she said, her and the ex have been on and off. So how many times did he go to her and be like, okay, I got it together? And she, like, I think an episode before, it's like he would do good and he would relapse. So it's like, if you've seen he's done good and relapsed, what's to say that he's not going to continue the same pattern like Sean continues the same pattern?
Yeah, but I don't think Sean has shown it unless that was a cut from, I don't know, because like he just said this stuff and then they went to go do the boob thing, which means, in my opinion, I don't think that was even like a last minute decision. If she's been saving for it, she probably legit, like I've heard a lot of women say like their bodies, that's why a lot of women go back and get like tummy tucks and they get that mommy makeover because their bodies are like torn up sometimes after kids. So I don't think that necessarily that's for a man. It's for her. Like when it comes to that part of it, I don't think it has nothing to do with that dude. I think that's her self-esteem is low. Like Sean says, she's never had self-esteem issues. So now that she does, she wants to do something about it. So I don't like to equate that to the guy.
I think it's a mixture of both.
I think that man, if she never really had boobs, and when she finally got them after she finished breastfeeding, now they done deflated. Like I've seen somebody else's who's like that too, and it's like I think you got to really lose them and go to some old raggedy boobs to understand it probably. And I seen somebody whose boobs are like that, and I was like, I completely understood why.
Look at me.
No, but I did see it. Like it looked like a rolling pin, like somebody rolled it all out, and I was like, well, that does suck if that happened. Because she said hers got so big.
I'm with Reese on that one. I think that it would be for her, but at the same time, I haven't seen like the other episodes and stuff to really just differentiate. But I mean, I feel
like that dude is like about her no matter what. Like the way he sound, regardless of what, because it ain't like she had big boobs when he knew her back in the day. So
and if she hasn't brought it up before, but now she started feeling insecure and start seeing this person, like I said, that's why I say it could also be a catalyst to doing something. Also be, and with the you talk about the jump in time, she could have just started saving right after they first had their first argument before the baby went through this big spurt.
But it also could be you sat on a swing wearing a sexy outfit and your husband walks in and is like, I want to get back to the game though. And it's like, damn, after I had this baby, like, do I look that bad? Like,
or it could be that she's like, you know what, if I had big boobs and I sat on a swing, any other man would have wanted me.
No, right. I think he's made her insecure. Like she doesn't like what her body looks like, and then now your husband.
I do believe she's insecure.
Right.
But your husband doesn't even want you. So why would you think anybody else would? Unless you fix
if you got the boobs.
But I'm saying, but even your husband will want you if you fixed your body. I'm saying, like, I really do believe. I'm not putting it on this new dude. I'm saying Sean did this woman, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, I got you. You knocked up. You ain't going nowhere. Now I'm going to start spending time with my one kid. And he chooses to go to work and spend time with his one kid. But you got a wife who's sitting here half naked on a sex swing, and you look acting like it's like, oh, that's cute.
But Sean admitted, you know, even before his wife in past relationships, that he felt like if as long as I provided financially, he was financially and responsibly, he was there. Emotionally, he's detached. Just like you have people who are there, romantically, but financially and responsibly, they are just the worst. Yeah, they the best lovers, but you're always struggling, and vice versa. So he said himself. I mean, there's not another woman that talked about him in past episodes that said that, oh, well, he was just romantic, he was this, he was that, consistently. So this is not nothing new. So it's just like this is the first time he's actually seeing that. Oh, I thought if I just made sure and paid the bills and made sure the house was okay, everything was fine.
Well, he was like super like sexual with her prior to them getting married and stuff. So I guess she just assumed that he wasn't gonna change.
Yeah, and that is an assumption. That's that get by on 15 minutes of 15 minutes of charm. Then what else you got to bring to the table type thing. Mm-hmm. That, you know, he may have started out this way, but you got to let things play further along to see if this is how someone continuously is. I think almost all of us put on that good old, hey, baby, you know, in the beginning, but 2 years later, are you still saying, hey, baby, or where my dinner?
Or like when you're thinking about your exit plan from a relationship, sometimes you go to the gym, you start buffing up your body right. Maybe you want to go get a boob job. You're trying to get the best version of you for your new single life.
And see, my thing is too, if she wanted to work on a relationship and everything is the issue, and I tell a lot of like my gaming friends and stuff like that, if it's that bad, then girl, pick up the other controller, play the game with him. You know? The stuff that he like we can play together. Right. It ain't that deep. Like you trying to make everything about you when you not even willing to experience and do some stuff with him that he like. What about him?
That boob could have went towards couples counseling. But
yeah. All right. So I guess we can go ahead and segue into the next couple, Puppy and Amber. All righty. So we see that Amber and Queen. I really like Queen, guys. Queen is a good girl for them to have. She just irritated me one time. She went a little too far. But anyway, so Amber and Queen, they're having coffee, and they're basically ragging on Puppy and Eric, right? Just talking about them and their relationship. And so Puppy is like, well, hold on, Amber was like, let me give Puppy a call. So she calls her, and, you know, Puppy tells her, before that, Amber had told Queen about the fight that her and Eric had about Puppy. And wait a minute, I said the wrong boyfriend's name, didn't I? So I'm sorry. Queen is telling, I'm getting all messed up. Okay, so Amber was telling Queen about the fight that Amber and TC had. I guess this is supposed to be the next day, the night before. And you know how TC had brought up that Puppy and Eric are drug dealers, right? And so they're talking, and she's like, well, let me just call Puppy and see how she's doing. So she calls Puppy on the phone. They're talking. You know, she actually reveals to her that Eric had stayed out the previous night until 5 a.m. and that apparently Eric's now ex-wife called Puppy and was like, hey, I'm going to put you on three-way so you can listen to me and him talk. So she has Puppy on three-way and calls Eric. I ain't heard this done since like the 90s. I don't know. Maybe I'm too old and I'm not in the drama. But she called Eric on three-way and was talking to Eric like, oh, you ghosted me after we had sex. And he's like, no, you ghosted me, and la, la, la. And that was the conversation. So Puppy has heard this. She don't really know what to do. She wants an exit plan. She said to Eric, make sure she doesn't have enough money to leave. She doesn't have a car. And I'm thinking, girl, I know you're getting a wee check. Where is your wee check? Take that wee check, go get yourself a car, and you can go. Get an apartment. Put a down payment down with that money. But hey, that ain't my business, I guess. So we see their phone call ends, and when Eric comes home, Puppy is basically saying she would like to leave, but she needs to come up with a plan. So Eric comes, and she's like, hey, I'm going to go visit my mom. And Eric's like, okay, I'm going to drive you over there. Which kind of proved like her point that, you know, he's not letting her leave anywhere alone. And so he drives her over to her mom's house. Her mom can tell that something's wrong. And so Puppy ends up confiding in her mom. You know, she even starts crying. Then Eric walks out the house like, hey, it's time to go. And, you know, and she ends up leaving with him. And that was pretty much the end of their scenes. Thoughts on Puppy and Amber?
Well, I don't have a lot on them. I mean, I I do. I mean, they had their conversation, but I would say the part that stood out to me was with Puppy and Derek. Eric. I just want to say that I'm going to the bathroom really sounded more like, let me stand by this door and see what they're going to talk about. Because it just seemed when it got deep, he didn't just walk out the bathroom, see them hug, talking about let's go out of the blue. So I'm willing to bet that he heard what have you. Now she knows what's going on, and she's very she's not saying a lot about it. They both know. She probably already realizes trying to mention it about what Eric did is not gonna solve much of anything, but just make him furious, which puts her in a bad situation.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. If she wants to go, she can go. She just has to plan it more properly. Like you sat here, you've talked to your mom. At some point when he goes to work, get your stuff and go on, or just try and tell him it's over. But this is nothing new. I mean, y'all have had these problems for a while, but I'll say this is kind of what happens when you let something just string on longer than probably should have ended like in the first 2 months. Now it's like, what do I do? But that's what I got as far as they go.
Okay.
Oh, I ain't know if you was gonna go.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, like Amber's part really, it was pretty brief. Her with Queen when they were talking, but I'm with JC on the fact of how much did he hear? Because even if he went to the bathroom, I don't think he came straight out. You know what I mean?
No, he's probably standing by that screen door listening.
Yeah. So I don't know if he heard her say she was on that 3-way call or if he just realized she was crying and saying it wasn't working. I don't know what all he heard, but for him to come out and be like, all right, kiddo, let's go. I'm like, first of all, kiddo, that's not what you say to your fiance. Second of all, you know what I'm saying? Why do y'all got to go out with something? Like, didn't y'all just get there? Like, literally, y'all sat down, talked for a second. You answered like 2 questions, went to the bathroom and said, we got to go. Only explanation is that he heard it, and now he's mad. But I mean, you doing it to yourself. Like you divorced the wife, whatever. If you still wanted to be with her, then why did you divorce her? Just stay with your wife, where you got kids and all that. Fix that and let Puppy go. But it's like he's controlling or something. So I guess he wants them both, but I don't know. I feel like I don't understand him, and yeah. That's all I got. Like, I got just a negative feeling off of that.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I was like, you already said that you can't go nowhere without him because he got the car and he got the money and all this other stuff. You just got to ride to your mama house, say bye.
Right. I'll pick up my stuff later.
I'm going to stay here.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that. What he going to do? Cut up in front of your mama? She going to call the laws? Whatever. But if you want it to be done, then be done. Stop it playing and acting like you a victim and you stuck in this situation when you're really not. You already know what you're doing. Huh?
I bet Amber would give her a ride back to him. Like if she went back with him, packed her stuff, and called Amber, I'm sure Amber would give her a ride to her mama's house.
Yeah, it's like she trying to play like she don't want the dramatics, but you being dramatic. You're not saying nothing while y'all riding in the car. You done went to your mama's house and cried on her shoulder, and all this other stuff. You making it bigger than what it is when just leave.
Yeah. Because I don't know how she's doing it. Maybe that's the toxicness in me. If I heard you on the phone,
I would have been saying
and those kind of things, he would have known. I probably couldn't have stayed quiet on that phone. I don't know.
Or as soon as he walked in the door, he would have heard.
Because she need a place to stay because she already told her friend too. He put me out and I'm gonna have nowhere to go with just the clothes on my back and all this other stuff. Well, if it's just the clothes on your back, then you already at your mom's house. Just stay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say, you know what, not taking up for Puppy because I definitely won't do that. But I'll say this. You never know someone, when I look at y'all, like women on the panel, y'all definitely take a stand for a lot of things. But with someone who's actually been through and is mentally beat down by such a controlling narcissist like him, you always question yourself, and you don't know whether or not. So he may have her mentally defeated in that way.
That is true.
And that's wrong by any means. That is very wrong. But that's why it's probably easier for us to say rather than her, because she's like, I just don't know. He has me feeling like that if I don't sit here, that I'm just going to fail at life and probably won't make it till tomorrow. And it'd be good to have supporting people. But here's the question I want to put in y'all's head. Let's say she decides to leave, calls Amber. Amber comes, picks her up. In the meantime, Eric comes back early and catches them. And now Amber calls TC. Like, I'm sorry, not Eric. Eric is up here acting a fool and is raising a voice, whatever else. How does that play out?
Bad.
Bad. And that's why I said she was already at her mama house, just stay at her mama house. Because I actually had to go through this situation, and that's the way I did it. Look, we going to my mama house. We got the, yeah, I'm going to stay here. You can go back home. Because it's like, I'm finna end up at my mama house anyway. So it's like, once I'm there, that's your safety net right there. So why go back to his house and put yourself back into that situation for him to cut up?
She's stuck. Well, he's a narcissist. He got her feeling that way.
Yeah.
She's been happy for a long time.
Manipulating her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I even know that from my own experience with a narcissist. I'm like, yeah, it ain't easy to leave.
Yep. That was the only way that I could leave. I went to my mom's house and it was like, hey, I'm here. I ain't going back.
I just felt like the whole come on, kiddo. I'm like, what kind of mess was that?
And that was the crazy part.
That's why I kind of believe. Oh, that's why I kind of believe he yeah. I'm sorry. I believe that's kind of why I believe that he was listening in on the conversation, and the whole kiddo thing was a slick kind of thing to say to her. You know,
because a kid listens to their parent. A kid, you do what a parent tells you. That may have been a little subliminal word like, hey, kid, come on here. You ain't got no say in this.
And that's the hard part about dealing with Puppy, which is funny that her name Puppy because she act like a puppy. Like, even if she was to go back, she still need approval from her friend. What's the girl name? Amber. She's still gonna call Amber. Amber, what should I do? It's always somebody else guiding her and leading her to what she needs to do.
Yeah. She's very codependent.
Just waiting for the next person to tell her what she ought to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't have to. That's about it with her because that's just her personality.
Very, very true. Very, very true. Alrighty, guys. I guess we can get mosey on now to Monique and Derek. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try to be mature enough to go through their segments. I'm gonna try. If I get a little immature, y'all forgive me, okay? All right. So we see Derek. He's with his sisters, and they are in the car headed to meet Monique's sister. Monique and her sisters. Can y'all believe we finally saw Derek drive a car? It's kind of weird. Like, oh, okay, I didn't know you could do that. And so we see while they're driving there, they start talking about Monique. You know, of course, the sisters are being negative as always. He actually ends up jumping out the car at one point because he was kind of getting aggravated with them. But he ended up getting back in the car with them, and they still went to go meet Monique. Alrighty, and so when they get together, of course, it's chaos as soon as the 5 women get together. Just immediately chaos, right? And so Derek, at one point, he had to stand between Monique's sister and his own sister, Elizabeth, because they're, moving in, closing in on each other as if they're about to fight at any second. And so we see them screaming insults at each other. Mostly it's a bunch of fat insults being thrown around. And then we see them start fighting. Because at one point, Derek's sisters, they were getting in their car, supposedly about to leave. And Monique's sister was like, shut up. If you're gonna fight, throw your hands. Then we see Derek's sister Elizabeth jump out the car. She's running. She got on a dress. They had to blur it because apparently her dress came up. And they proceed to start fighting in this parking lot. They are throwing blows. Finally, they get the girls to separate. But that was their scenes this week. What did you guys think about that rumble in the park? What? I'm still here. I do. And Derek was like, he knew this was going to happen. He thought it wasn't going to happen. Do y'all truly believe that?
Derek was hopeful. He had that faith in us.
That was very hopeful there.
It was gonna happen. Now, and Derek knew it when he was riding with his sisters. He knew they was on ratchet. I don't think they've ever been anything but. I think they wake up ratchet, eat ratchet, drink ratchet, everything ratchet. The sisters were pretty much just tired at this point. Talking about you started it when talking about what was that line she said? She said, want to see how everything panned out, or
oh, I was just trying to
check the temperature.
Yeah, take the temperature. The thing is, you don't realize you turned on the heat for her to check the temperature. It's like, yeah, I know we did all this, but still, why y'all react that way? And then especially with the sister Sam Elizabeth or whatever it is, you sat up here trying to have a conversation, and you kept over talking. Yeah, but all you're doing is aggravating and agitating the situation to both of you. It's like you got a lot to say, saying what you want to say, but not wanting to hear nothing. So it escalates to that point. So yeah, when the one sister, Monique's one sister, sat there and got that ticked off and kept talking, I'm like, okay, you're talking too much. But it was just at a point where it was at a boiling point, and she gonna run out there and ready to swing. And then here they go. Now they want to sit here and start fighting. Now I saw Monique throwing punches in there instead of trying to break them up. Like,
did you see Monique and the little sister were fighting? I thought it was going to be Monique and Elizabeth, but no, she was actually fighting the little one.
Yes, she definitely was. And I'm like, wow. I mean, no, that's the wrong one to double team. But yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, they're not going to coexist. Problem is Derek tried to bypass this so long. He let his sisters have so much leeway that it blew up to this point. And it's all them, 100% them, and him not just sitting there telling them, you know what, stop, hush, wrong, and running from it. You have to face it. And then when Monique was pulling off, he said, they're like, oh, so you're leaving? Yes, time to go.
Yeah.
Pick up the car, time to go. We ain't no talking at this point. Once hand's been thrown, that's it. So at the end of the day, Derek's going to stand up and do this, and Monique's going to tell her sisters, okay. Once Derek makes that stand, then Monique goes talk to her sisters, and it's fine. But ain't no Derek can't work with him. He got to actually, at this point, choose between his sisters or Monique.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that whole situation could have been avoided had he conversated with Monique and talked to her, about the whole situation of getting the sisters together and stuff, and then brought the sisters together, and Monique and him talked to the sisters and let them know, hey, what you did was wrong, what you said was wrong. And that's Derek talking, but Derek not gonna do that because he actually liked the whole situation. To me,
I think he likes the drama. Yeah, part of him likes it.
Because otherwise he would have told his sisters, yeah, y'all was wrong. The sisters, they of course, took it out of context because they're gonna take up for their sister, but they could have handled it better than what they did. They basically just brought the sisters together so they can go and get it up out their system.
Yeah. And he knew his sisters was thinking that there was going to be a fight because they were like, well, why she bring her sister? They want to fight us. They want to fight us.
Mm-hmm.
You knew the moment they said that they were prepared to fight, that they were going to fight. They thought they were coming for a fight. I think that's why the sister had on tennis shoes with that dress. Even though she still ended up on the ground. But, yeah.
kicking the car. Like, come on.
Yeah, that was messed up. It was messed up. Every time the sister went to get in the car, Elizabeth was on the ground and she was kicking the door shut. Sorry, I told y'all I was gonna try to be mature while I was about this, but I was laughing. And finally, she just went in the back door.
Me too. And my son watched it with me, and he was like, "I'm right here. What's up? What's up?"
You ain't gonna do nothing. You ain't gonna hit nobody. Throw your hands. And then all of a sudden, she jumped out that car.
Yeah, that was funny.
This feels like an old school episode of Jerry Springer. Yeah, I remember when they used to do that.
I was like,
she was all dramatic, laid out on the ground.
Yeah, she always laid on the doggone ground. I'm like, girl, get up.
Especially with no clothes on, you definitely get up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the outfit, all of it, I don't know. She extra, but yeah. Were you done? Okay, that fight was it was a lot. Like it was too much going on. You couldn't really see it, and so that kind of made me mad because I was really trying to see who was going, what exactly was happening. Because at one point, to me, it looked like Monique and the other sister were fighting the big one, and then the Elizabeth, and then the other sister who was telling, "Oh, girl, come fight," was fighting the smaller sister. But then I guess Monique saw it and she ran over there, and then somehow that sister ended up over there and on the ground. And I was like, okay, I'm getting confused. Like maybe I need to try to watch that fight in slow motion to actually see what happened because it was too much. Like I was like too many moving pieces. I couldn't even follow it, so I was kind of annoyed. I'm like, it was just too much.
Yeah, there was a lot of slinging of arms and a lot of pulling.
I saw a lot of pulling of wigs. Like that's the main thing I saw was hair being pulled. I saw arm swinging and punches thrown, but it was like more so.
Yeah, because Elizabeth, when she showed up, she did not have on a wig, right?
Mm-mm.
She just had that cap on. So yeah, that's my other thing. She was ready to fight. Yeah, that's what that was about.
But she did get her hair, them nails on. I'm like, you can't be wanting to fight with them nails on.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy. But I know them things hurt when they broke. But yeah. But then when she on the ground kicking the car, that jump was silly. Them two are just super ghetto. Like especially the girl sister, like the smaller sister.
Mm-hmm.
Super ghetto. Like she be for the drama. Like almost more than Elizabeth. And Elizabeth is for the drama.
Yeah.
Like that little one's so slow. You know what I'm saying? Low key be hiding behind Elizabeth, but full of drama too.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know. That whole scene, I'm like, if I was Monique, that would have been a moment I changed my mind about that relationship because I wouldn't want to deal with that for the rest of my life. Like,
no,
you can't ever be serious if this is what it's gonna be.
Especially when this season first started and Derek was talking about, yeah, I slept with 10 women since she left. You know, it's like, what are you doing? What are you fighting for? I mean, what is it? I mean,
and then my other issue with the scene was like, I can't imagine that I'm dating a guy, his family does not like me. We get into a physical altercation, and then you're just running around because that's all I felt like Derek was doing. He was running around. I didn't feel like he was really trying to stop anything. It was just like, I don't know. It was just weird. I would have expected for him to be trying to protect me, my sister.
He did say he was outnumbered. I think he gave up. But he's like, you can't put them off of each other.
Maybe
with nobody small. Like he's smaller than all of them.
That is very true.
I should have brought reinforcements.
Yeah, he should have brought some bodyguards with him. Yeah. All right. So the next couple that we had was Taylor and Chance. Okay. All right. And so we see Taylor, he comes home and he asks Taylor, like, well, what's for dinner? And she's like, well, I've been calling you. You haven't answered my phone calls. And so he's like, well, he's giving her a bunch of excuses. Well, I may have been in the dead zone, and you know how my phone do when I put on my GPS, it turns my ringer off, and just a bunch of excuses. All right. And he he finally tells Taylor that he has invited his son to come visit and that he paid for the ticket. And you can see that Taylor is aggravated by that. You know, he's spending more money. He'd have paid for a ticket. Alrighty. And so we see Ethan arrive. You know, he arrives in his Uber. It seems like Taylor's girls are actually excited to meet him. Right? So he comes in the house, he introduces Ethan, gives him a tour around the house, and then he's like, there's the crib for the baby. And Ethan's like, huh? And he's like, yeah, I wanted to tell you in person that Taylor's going to have a baby. And so we see them all sit down all together, the girls, Taylor and Chance. And they're talking, and then, you know, Chance is like, well, we're going to go and eat, which I get it, so he can bond with his son for a little bit. So they go to a restaurant and they're eating, and they talk about Ethan's childhood. And apparently he's never been in Ethan's life. And so he was kind of like, you know, what did you think? You know, did you think you had a dad? Or, you know, kind of, well, what went on in your life? And he reveals that he thought somebody else was his dad. I guess his stepdad or something, or a man that his mom was dating was his dad. Alrighty. So then we see later on, it's like dinner time. And so they're at a very nice restaurant, which Taylor's not happy about, but she's like, okay, this is a one-time thing or whatever, so I'll let him go with this. And so when the bill comes, Chance pulls out his wallet and he's like, I think I got $20 on this card. I think I got $5 on this card. Taylor, do you have any money on your card right there? And she's like, I don't know. He was like, do you think you got at least $70 on there? And she's like, yeah, I got 70. Let me use that card. So he uses that card. Then when the waiter comes, he's like, yeah, well, you put 70 on this card, 25 on this card, 35 on this one, and then the rest on this one. I was embarrassed for her. And you tell Taylor's mood changed. And, because, you know, Chance has got some balls. He's got some balls on him. And so, you know, so she's just like aggravated because they went to this elaborate dinner and he couldn't even pay for all of it. Couldn't even pay for it. And then he's splitting it amongst cards because he don't have enough credit limit. It was crazy. I was waiting for the waiter to come back and say one of those cards had been declined. But apparently they went through, I guess. Right. And so Taylor reveals, like in her confessional, that she did not like how Chance kept asking Ethan questions about his mom. That made her uncomfortable. All right. And so that was, I guess, part of her mood change was that she didn't like those conversations. All right. So that was Taylor and Chance this week. Any thoughts on them?
No.
Okay. Jerome? You're muted. He's saying for Reese to go?
Yeah, that I felt like his son was very mature. Like
He was.
like the son, because like when he made the comment like, oh, I can take you to a strip club, he's like, I don't want to do that. You know, and it's like I thought the son was gonna be like, oh, girl was back in the other, what she offered to pay or whatever, but he probably was like, you showing your colors, you know, whatever, you figure it out. Because they kept paying him back to the son, and he just was like, whatever. When Owen was asking about the credit cards and stuff. My thing is, if you knew you didn't have the money though, why go to an expensive restaurant? Like cook something nice or
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I'm sure that dude wasn't looking to go all extravagant. Like save that for when you got the money or whatever. So that was dumb on his part. It made him look stupid. But and it upset Taylor as it should, because like you chose this place. So why would you do that knowing that you didn't have money in your cards or that you was gonna have to pull out 17 cards to put $10
Right.
or $5? Because I like how in the world that dude even remembered what to put on what card. Because I'm like,
All right.
that's why I don't think I could be a waitress, because I had to write everything down because I wouldn't be able to do that. Then just the way I understood like why Chance was the way he was acting like for his son, but it's just, you know, you don't have the money, so just calm it down, because that was a public situation that embarrassed you. It wasn't like you went online to do something and then it was like declined. You know what I'm saying? Like how he might have had other issues where nobody saw it. Like you're exposing yourself. So don't give your son that bad look, knowing that, you know what I'm saying, you already ain't been there, and then you pay for the ticket too. So then I feel like as the kid, I would feel kind of like, dang, so you can't even really afford this, and you pay for my ticket. You know, why'd you have me come out here? It's probably how I would be feeling. But
Oh yeah, and then I forgot to mention that he was asking the boy, do he think it would be okay if him, Taylor, and the girls came to visit? And he's like, well, I'll talk to my mom. And he's like, yeah, talk to her.
yeah,
Yeah, this episode, it was just full of their scenes, at least, were just making me angry. And then it was like when he had told Taylor that he paid for the ticket, Taylor didn't like it, and she told him, you should have ran that by me. He's like, well, basically, he said, I'm grown, I don't need to run anything past you. And she's like, well, I don't know that I want to get married if you're not going to run things past me. Which I felt what she was saying, because it is true. Like, if we're supposed to be in a partnership, you should be telling me what's going on.
yeah, especially when they already having
At least financially.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, because they were having financial problems already. So it's
Yeah.
like, and then you just said that you're gonna run things by her. So it looks like you did it after the fact, because you're not admitting that, well, I did this right before we had that conversation. So to me, he would have saved himself if he had said, well, I was scared to say something after we got into it, but I had already did this. That was also part of right when I bought that power washer. I also bought the tickets. So I didn't want to tell you there was two things I didn't run by you, and I apologize now because I'm not gonna do that again. But instead, he was like, well, you're not my wife, so I don't have to. You know, it's like you just dug yourself into a deeper hole that you really didn't have to. Because I feel like she could be more forgiving of, okay, you didn't tell me about that. What else you ain't tell me about? Versus you being like, well, you ain't my wife, so I ain't got to do it. Because now it seems like you're not gonna do it. Like you're going back on your word now that you just said you would talk to her before you make big purchases. So that's why I'm like, he's a very confusing person. And I don't blame her for not trusting him financially, because he's showing time and time again. And it's like, if she's having to cover bills that are missed, then you can't expect her to spend all her money on these fancy dinners you couldn't afford. You know what I'm saying? So, as far as like when he came home and she was saying she couldn't get a hold of him, so that's why she didn't cook. I don't really see how those two went together, because you still would have had to cook for the kids. So I don't know. That whole scene, I think, was just to show like that she don't trust him. I feel like maybe that was even said, because then he started rubbing her feet. Like, I feel like you should have been mad there wasn't no dinner cooked or whatever. Like, if you home and hungry and it's like, what are we eating? Well, I try to call you and answer. So, oh well. So we just gonna not talk about the fact that I'm still hungry? Like, I don't know. I was like, that whole scene turned weird to me. But yeah. I would say that I like his son. I think I like the way Taylor tried to interact with the son. I think she said one thing that I was like, yeah, you can't say that. But outside of all that, like, I think he just made himself look terrible. And I think that son is like, well, I guess she'll see. If he ain't no good, he was no good to his family. He probably figures not Sean, but Chan's gonna be the same way with that one. So I don't know. But hopefully he get his stuff together. Who knows?
Well, if I may, I agree with most of what Reese said, but there's one part I disagree big time on. When she sat here, I like that look. When she sat here and was talking about, why didn't they say something? He ain't gonna say like when he did all this and why he didn't talk to her about like getting the ticket and stuff, and had all the excuses. He wasn't supposed to tell her. He a man. A man don't know. I'm joking. But no, but in all honesty, jokes aside, I agree about everything Reese said. I like when the son came in. The son was very nice, respectful. He was looking around, trying to feel his way. And even when they got the news about you expecting another child, the son's first thing was, "But I hope he's a better father to that child than he was to the rest of us." And you almost felt that one when he said that. And as far as them going out to eat, well, he always sits here and tries to do things bigger than he should. There was nothing wrong with you going picking up a couple of slabs of ribs and some chicken or something, then firing up the grill. That's a bonding moment. Y'all outside in the backyard, kids running around, whole nine, and it's not costing you an arm and 12 legs. You're still now you're putting everything on this one son, put everything in this one business, and still hurting the current family you have. talking about the mom and stuff. Let's get to know each other first. Let everybody get to know each other before you start going to, well, maybe yeah, we can do this, maybe we can do that. You're trying to do everything in like a 20-minute span. Talk to your your wife to be. See how she feels, how it's going. I think she was awesome, especially at the point where you went out to eat and now you're trying to divvy up, take 40 from this car. Where did you go to eat? It's like, it's 5 of y'all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you 40 here, 30 here, that with the 2 kids' meals, that probably should have covered everything. But where did y'all go to eat? What did y'all order?
Oh, well,
Filet
you
mignon?
saw it looked like they had like some pizza, but then they also had some shrimp scampi or something. You remember the waiter was like, I got your such. And I'm like, okay, so y'all eating pizza and a meal? But I
You
guess you
know,
can do that at Johnny's Pizza, I guess. So
you
maybe it's not.
can, but imagine how that makes you look like, yeah, son, we good. I'll buy your ticket, bring it out here. And it's like, oh, honey, can we get it? Yes, I would be, as the wife, I would be embarrassed. I'd be hurt. And then you can't say much because if you do, it makes it sound like you're not appreciative of him seeing his son. And that's not even the case. It's just that he's been doing it. It's like, baby, he's been doing this before you even got here. And,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. All of this is really gonna come to an end. And like I said, he had the same kind of attitude. Only difference is what's the name? Michael has some sort of financial stability. When you're sitting here saying, well, I don't feel I have to ask you nothing. No, because when you mess up, who's gonna be there to bail you out? That same person you said you ain't need to talk to. And if she sat there and said, well, you're not my husband, we ain't together. So if you're struggling, you're struggling, then he will feel some type of way. You can't have that kind of attitude. Because whatever choices you make when you're a couple, married or not, affects the both of you and y'all's kids. And you have to consider that. I'm done.
That's very true. All right, B, your thoughts on Chance and Taylor?
I was embarrassed for the son that came to visit. Like, that was a lot for him to have to take in. They got these girls running around, one of them jumping on his head, one around his neck. I was like,
Yeah.
it was a lot. And then on top of that, you telling him that you having another baby. And the boy saying, well, I hope he do better than, he did with us with this one, or maybe she'll see that he haven't changed or whatever. But it was all just uncomfortable for me. I don't know. Cause he like what, 20 now? And
Something
he
like that.
got all these little sisters running around and stuff and you about to have a brother. It's like, boy, I barely know you.
Oh, I forgot to mention the baby's name. So they announced the baby's name. Baby's name is going to be Mason Carter. And so Chance goes into this story on how Mason is a family name, and so is Carter. And so Taylor's like, she notices that Chance tells a lot of little white lies. She was like, and then she told the truth. She said she saw the name on a blanket. It was probably a Carter's baby blanket that they saw it on, but that's where the name came from, was like from the blanket. And so she's acknowledging that she does know that Chance is telling little white lies. And you can kind of tell she didn't like that too at the dinner. I'm sorry to cut you off, me. But I just thought about that. I was like, wait a minute.
Mason jar Carter pants. Lord. Um yeah, it's just all too much. And like, my dude, he have another son too, and let him come around, and he like 19, 20 or whatever. I was straight up tell him, boy, we got bills, we got this, we got that. Don't be trying to go overboard for the show out to this. I know, I get that it's your son or whatever, but if anything, that's making him even more uncomfortable because despite, I'm like, he was 2 when he went to jail, so he really don't know you. So you
Yeah.
trying to put on this whole facade and stuff like you just got it like that, but your daughter's hair all everywhere and they jumping all over your neck.
Mhm.
Like, be for real. And y'all about to have another baby. If anything, he in his 20s. He basically a grown man. He mature for his age. He'll understand, the fact like 300 said, shoot, we can barbecue or something that's gonna help bring us closer together rather than, sit here and spend money that we don't have. But even that to me would still be awkward between them because he barely even know what to say to him because he was so young when he left. He told the
Mm-hmm.
boy that he looked
He's
like a vampire from True Blood. Like, what?
yeah, he did. He did.
Like, that's not an icebreaker. Okay, he got long hair. But it was just all awkward to me. And then if it's like if you getting to know your son first, get to know your son, and then bring in your daughters and the rest of them and stuff like that. Like y'all build a connection first, and then add the other people in. But doing it, like he said, he rushing everything and trying to do it all at one time. I was uncomfortable. I'm like, man, I couldn't imagine coming into this house and all these kids running around, jumping everywhere, and I'm just here to get to know my daddy. My biological father. That's it. Like, I don't know these kids. I don't know this lady, and she about to have another baby. Like, that's a lot for to take in on your first day coming to meet him after all them years.
Wow.
Yeah, she should have stopped the kids from jumping on his neck and his head. Like, you got company here. Don't do that in front of company.
But they've been rambunctious since last season, those
Yeah,
kids. So we
yeah.
see she still ain't got onto them about
No.
it.
Yeah, they do what they want. We tearing stuff up, jumping, climbing.
Yeah, my other thing is why didn't he check those cars before they went to the restaurant? I just don't get it.
We ain't check the cars. We ain't check the kids. I mean, so are these kids on the spectrum also? Let me never mind. Okay.
Oh. I mean, you had to put your shades on.
Put the shades on for that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my. Reese, do you want to add anything?
Oh no, I had went first, so I'm good.
No,
But
no.
my only thing, like, just that I forgot about that junk with Chance and the blankets. Like, he had, like, if you didn't know, that junk sounded so real. It sounded real. That's a scary liar right there. Like, somebody who can make up little stuff like that. And so quick too. It's like, hey guys, did we tell you about the baby name? We got the baby name. And he looked at his son, Carter. He comes from, the great grandfather's ancestors, and then Mason. Another name, the ancestors. And it's like the way he said it was so passionate, like it was real. I'm like, this dude is really like a pathological liar at times.
He is.
That would scare me.
Yeah. Oh no, when I saw you pulled out your shades, I thought you were about to get real shady.
Oh no, I put my shades on because of that comment he made. I'm like, oh no. No, he took it there. I don't know.
Yeah, but that is true. That is very scary. How quickly he came up with that lie and where it came from. Like, why can't you just say we just made up the name?
Yeah, we just thought about it and it sounded real cute. Like, we saw one name on something and then we thought about this and it was like, oh, that would be cute together. Like, because I'd be like, what ancestors? Hers or yours? Can't say yours because then I can research that.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me which great grandfather.
Yeah. Name I wish he had to ask questions like that. Which one? Which ancestor? Your son, her side? Who? Taylor probably would have laughed in. Oh my God. That was just do weird. Well when you start dissecting his lies.
All righty. Well, that was the show this week, Love After Lockup. So if you're still here, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe as well so you can see us. We come here on the weekends and we recap the Love After Lockup series. All right. So I want to thank you for coming. And until next time, friends. Bye.